noting also that we have the committee of the whole or the special committee will have only 10 days to deliver. I also came thinking that the whole house would have been better because the task ahead would have been shared and therefore making the job much easier, and the time factor would then have been much better. Mr. Speaker, from the history of this House, the impeachments that have been had or been brought before this House, I have not found any particular member that was able to convince me that the committee of the whole did a shoddy job. But Mr. Speaker, just like that suitor who convinces would-be bride, I think I am convinced that a committee, a special committee, will do a good job, especially during this time of Christmas. And so, Mr. Speaker, I am now convinced by those that support the motion. I support. Thank you very much.
Senator Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to add my voice to this debate. Mr. Speaker, for me first, there is no difference between plenary and the committee. For one reason, we need to be fair to the people of Meru, we need to be just to the people of this country, and we need to do a clean job. I was listening to the debate and it was like we are giving the country an impression that the members of the committee will not do a good job. I think that is one thing that we need to start avoiding, because if we give the impression that committees will not do a good job, it's different. I agree with the fact that we needed to have done a Kamukunji, Mr. Speaker. It helps to ventilate. It helps for members to give their views that early. But, Mr. Speaker, lastly, I just want to mention the fact that the issue of gender is a very important thing. And it would have been very fair to increase the numbers of ladies, because there are issues. This lady, Honorable Her Excellency, the Governor, has been judged by the public. And she needs the comfort of that committee. She needs to trust the committee herself. And that's why I was so worried when we started derailing and moving to debate Gloria instead of debating which committee, whether we are going for committee or not. It's very important. The issue is about Kawira. We need to be fair to her as much as we need to be fair to the people of Meru, and as much as we need to be fair to the MCAs who have issues. And we must be trusted as a Senate. And for us to be trusted, I want to challenge the members of the committee that have been nominated, that they must come out. If we go the direction of the committee, which it looks like we are going, we must be seen to be just, we must be seen to be truthful, and we must be seen to be honest. Kawira.
Senator Abbas.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm a Senator Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm confident of every senator in this House is competent enough. I think the whole day was competency. I have no problem with the committee, but however, the paragraph before the names says that the Senate has resolved. This Senate is still debating and we have never solved it. I think in the future you have to correct that one. Two, Mr. Speaker, this business is coming under the devolution. The chairman devolution is not included. We have been given responsibility, everybody is given responsibility as a standing committee for every committee, standing committee in this Senate. However, the Senate, the chairman of devolution is excluded in this committee. And I think in future, this should be corrected. The chairman must be respected on the undercuts, and they must be consulted on this issue. Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okenyuri.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. I also rise to support this motion, and especially agree with my colleague, Senator Wambua, that the committee route will give us a more detailed approach, because then we'll benefit from expert opinion. But if we allow the plenary route, it's gonna be like a market where everyone has leeway to give their point, not holding into account what the expert opinion is. I also have an opportunity to participate as a newly joining in member. I want to appreciate the opportunity to be considered in that select committee, and also promise to really give justice that is needed and be fair in this due process. So, Mr. Speaker, I think the committee is the right way to go, not because I'm a beneficiary. I also think as a young person, and my region is factored. It's not being a woman. I'm a leader in this house. It's not, for me, that's how I look at it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Okanyuri, this house, whether it goes the plenary way or not, can never be a market. It always be an honorable house. Senator Tobiko Paris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the motion. Mr. Speaker, the standing orders of this House allow both ways or either of the routes, whether it's plenary or the committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and so the House could go in any direction, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, let me address one particular issue that has really come up in this whole debate, the gender issue, Mr. Speaker. And I would want to urge my sisters, honorable senators who are here, that even if we feel compelled to speak for the good lady governor of Meru, we must do it in a shrewd manner, because the Bible tells us to be shrewd. We neither have the numbers, neither do we have the vote. So we must do it in a way that we bring the elected male senators on board to agree with us if we have strong points that would save the lady governor. But Mr. Speaker, I would also say that for the committee and those who have been bestowed with the responsibility of being in this committee, it's a huge responsibility, Mr. Speaker. And I was asking myself, this may actually put some of us in a precarious situation, because it will set precedents. I am imagining, I am seated there as a committee member that possibly may agree with the impeachment of the governor of Meru, and tomorrow I am a lady who will be aspiring to be a governor in 2027 in a county. So I would want justice to...
Honorable Senator Karungo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I rise to support this motion, it's good to inform the House, yes, I am one of the nominated member to be in this committee, but I would support such a route whether I'm in this committee or not in this committee. Mr. Speaker, I've heard people say that if we go the committee way, it's going to be held away from the public. That is not right, Mr. Speaker, and every senator is allowed to appear in that committee, and they can as well contribute through the membership of that committee, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's also wrong to discuss the membership of this committee, saying some of them are governors or not governors. Mr. Speaker, whether we go the plenary way, the governors will be there. Whether we go the committee way, the governors will be there. So that is not supposed to be even entertained in this House, because we are all equal in this House. There is no virgins in the maternity, Mr. Speaker. We are all equal. We went the same process, and we are all senators in this House, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the issue is not about Kawera. It is the issue of the people of Meru, over 200,000 who voted for her, plus the whole of the county that she's now serving. So, Mr. Speaker, I think with the committee, we are going to investigate this matter, and give justice to both Kawera and the people of Meru County. And Mr. Speaker, having had an experience of going through such a process, I believe I'm going to be an asset to this committee because I do understand what happens when it comes to such processes. And Mr. Speaker, because I support women, and I support women so much.
Senator Murgo.
Thank you very much, Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also air my views in addition to my colleagues. I came in actually opposing the motion, but I've been persuaded by a few facts. One fact is that a few people will find facts more than a larger group. So that has persuaded me to go the small group. And also, a small group will also is likely to be friendlier than a large group, because a large group is likely to be disorderly and just express themselves very differently. And then I look at people like Senator Tobigo and the others to be very mature, and therefore reasoning will be there rather than emotions. And therefore that will be good for the governor and also good for the county assembly people or MCAs, and then also for Meru people at large. Thank you. I support.
Senator Murango.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving this opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, after serious dialogue, discussion, and face-to-face with the majority leader, I support this motion. Mr. Speaker, when I look at the senators who have been put in this committee to look at this matter, I also can see a lot of experience in it. Mr. Speaker, starting with Dr. Halwale, who is a seasoned senator and has handled this matter before. We have the former Governor Jackson Mandago and Mr. Romba, Senator Romba. Karongo Dangwa was a CC member at Kiambu at one time. We have Joseph Githuku was an MCA in Ilamu. Mr. Speaker, having this combination, we have to have confidence that the committee will be able to carry out its mandate. But I also want to remind them that according to the County Government Act of 2012, Section 33, either they find the governor guilty or not guilty, this will, the full house will bear the brunt of their decision. So I'll call upon them to be honest on their findings and to make sure that the voice of the people will be the voice of the senators. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mandago.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to support this motion. Although initially, Mr. Speaker, the way the majority leader had put it, it was open for the Senate to decide either way. But Mr. Speaker, I want to say that the decision or the matter beforehand, Mr. Speaker, has nothing to do with gender. It's purely a matter of considering whether the decision that was reached by the County Assembly of Meru, the Senate is going to concur with them or disagree with them, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, it is not in order for the Honorable Senator Gloria to suggest that since the committee is made up of more male senators than the female senators, that the committee will not be biased, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in fact, in this country of recent past, Mr. Speaker, there seems to be a liking by women, Mr. Speaker, of the services being given by men, Mr. Speaker. A majority of women today, Mr. Speaker, if they go to the salon, they are actually looking for male saloonists. Mr. Speaker, even when they go for massage, they are looking for male are going to start justice, Mr. Speaker, we are going to be unfair. Mr. Speaker, I want to commit that having been selected as a member of that committee, that we are going to be fair, just, and do the right thing, Mr. Speaker, because we know the decision of that committee will be the decision of the Senate, and we therefore want to commit that being a former governor or not does not make us biased in the decisions we are going to make, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I support.
Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, my thinking is, if we had a fair balance of the gender, when I talk about gender, I'm just talking about the balanced number. We are aspiring the 2/3 majority, and we cannot achieve if we don't start with the Senate. So actually, I want to support Senator Kamar, looking at the merit of the balance. But I believe I trust the committee way would be the right way to trust, because of course not all of us, and I'm sure they'll make the right decision, but I am not happy with the balance of the numbers. So practice that, and this is the only way, of course, being in the
huu, kwa sababu Bwana Spika, ninaamini ya kwamba watu wachache wakijadiliana mambo na wakitizama mambo wana uwezo mkubwa kuliko watu wengi. Na hata kwa kazi, watu wengi sana unaweza kuwapa kazi mfano tu na upate wamefanya kazi kidogo sana, lakini upatie wachache na upate wamefanya kazi mzuri. Kwa hivyo Bwana Spika, na support, na ninasema vile nimeona hii kamiti vile imechaguliwa, nataka kuahidi seneta, hatutakuwa biased, maana niko pale ndani. Tutafanya kazi kwa uwazi na kwa usawa, tukijua sisi ni watetezi wa devolution, na sisi ni watetezi wa magavana, sisi ni watetezi wa wananchi na mambo yote yanayotendeka kwa county. Kwa hivyo hatutaegemea upande mmoja, tutaangalia usawa na tutafanya vizuri vile inatakikana. Tunawahakikishia hivyo. Asanteni.
Senator Miraj.
Mimi nasimama kuiunga mkono hoja ya majority leader ya kwamba tuende njia ya committee. Lakini pia vile niwezi kutoa changizo zangu kama mwakilishi maalum wa kike katika hii bunge la Senate. Tunazungumza mazungumzo na tunataka kuonesha ubabe, lakini lazima tuangalie nchi yetu inaelekea wapi kimisingi ya uwakilishi wa kike. Tumeambiwa kwamba sisi tuko hapa, na hata labda tungepata fursa ya kukaa katika hiyo committee, tusingekuwa
NTV, turning on your world.
hariya tugikinyite
unanitaka pia unaniamini na umeniridhia nasubiri
kura 3 pekee. Na waomba kina mama, sisi tunapokuja kuwaomba kura, hatuwaombi kura kwa sababu tunataka kukaa tu kwenye hii nyumba. Tuweze kutoa sauti zetu, sio kwa sababu Kawira ni mwanamke, lakini kusimamia haki yake kwa social media na yale ambayo katika hiyo kamati, niwasihi msimuangalie kama mama, muangalieni kama mama ambaye alikwenda akapigiwa kura na wananchi.
Not to speak on this matter, particularly because I am directly affected, especially given the emotion with which this conversation started. I did respect the fact that we are all equal senators, and every issue that senators do bring in this house are equally weighty, because people have got different interests and people have got different concerns. So I'm very humbled to register my thoughts on this matter. And the first one is just being grateful that with such a difficult task of making a judgment, going to do it is indeed a very serious task. Been put in place to put our trust in our leadership.
Senator Mundigi.
You proud?
Sisi wanaume, lakini pia hata yeye mwenyewe au akipatia wanaume respect, kwa sababu nakumbuka kitu ya kwanza anafaa respect watu wa Meru, kwa sababu nakumbuka siku ile kulikuwa na sherehe kubwa ya rais.
Completely aware of
hatuko hapa kwa sababu awe na respect ya kupatia leaders wale wengine respect, ndio hata kama polisi ameitwa na nani anavaa akienda. Asante.
Honorable senators, from my dashboard, my dashboard is blank. Senator, yeah, he'll speak last. Senator Duarte.
Mr. Speaker, sir, maybe the ticker, it provides that it can the process can either be taken through plenary or by way of a select committee. Mr. Speaker, sir, in both of these two processes, none has been stated as being more superior than the other, meaning that a plenary should be as good as a select committee, Mr. Speaker, sir. In other words, Mr. Speaker, sir, if this function can be undertaken by the Senate, it can also be undertaken by the select committee. The standard of care required during the process will be the same both at the plenary and at the select committee level. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to state, listening to the many submissions that made before, it's clear that there are some processes that may need to be improved. For instance, how committees are constituted, percentage of gender, Mr. Speaker, sir, that can be improved for future processes. But Mr. Speaker, sir, without elongating my submissions, I would wish to support the motion that has been brought to the floor of this House by the majority leader, but to implore upon the select committee to undertake their duty with much care and without interference, and to see that looking at the heated debate that has emanated from the House, Mr. Speaker, sir, everybody will be watching. Both the governor needs a fair trial, the standard of proof.
At this juncture, will allow the Honorable Senator of Meru 5 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the onset, Mr. Speaker, sir, I really want to thank you and the members of the Senate for breaking their holiday to come and listen to the cries of the Meru people. So on behalf of the Meru County residents and my very behalf, humbly receive our gratitude. The role of the Senate, Honorable Speaker, is to represent the counties. That is Article 96(1) of our Constitution. The Senate represents the counties and serves to protect the interests of the counties and their governments. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, the reason why these senators left their families, some even were outside the country, it is because they are really following the Constitution and they are really protecting and defending the Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, I wish that these impeachments don't come to this House. It's unfortunate that Meru County is the first county to be brought on this matter. And Mr. Speaker, my wish is that both the parties, that is the Meru County Assembly, the 67 members opening their signatures to impeach the governor will be listened to, and also the governor. I'll really request her this time to appear before the Senate, because last week she did not appear before the County Assembly because she thought that there was a breach of the court order. But I really beg her also to appear before this committee, which will be maybe nominated today, so that also she can be heard, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this matter has come at a time that is not so good because we are in our festivities. And Mr. Speaker, due to the past experiences, sometimes it becomes difficult to get the requisite quorum because we need 15 senators so that we can present the plenary. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, you know, if we go this route, I am afraid that getting that quorum sometimes might be difficult. And we want this matter to be expedited as fast as possible. Unfortunately, the Meru people thought today is the day that we are listening to all the issues. So I was forced this morning to go to all the radios to explain to them that today is just the start of the process. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, Meru community is very anxious. I know this Christmas, most of them, some of us will enjoy the Christmas, not in the normal manner. So, Mr. Speaker, we must get the system or the method which at least will give commitment. Because if we have 11 members committed to this cause, Mr. Speaker, I know that matter will be expedited with the fastest time possible. And these 10 days, if this matter can be listened to even within 5 days, that will be okay, Mr. Speaker, because the maximum time is 10 days for the committee to listen to all parties and bring the report to this House. Even if we are recalled earlier than the 30th of December, we will be able to come back, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, members should not be worried because we are on by our standing orders to appear as friends of committee. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, all those members who feel that they shouldn't be part of that committee to listen to the issues, either in the defense of the governor or against, they are free to attend those sessions. Personally, even though I'm not in the committee, for the interest of my people, I will be appearing as much as possible to the committee to listen to the issues that will be raised, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to confirm whether that grab is because of my statement or it is because of former Senator Governor Mandago. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you very much. So I was saying I will be, even my friend here, Senator Medu, will be much interested also to participate, to appear, and I also encourage as many senators as possible to appear as friends of the committee. Senator Chalegei, I also request the chair, because we don't know the chair who will be elected chairman of the committee, to give even the senators who are not members of the committee even time to even interrogate the witnesses, because that is the prerogative of the chair to give the friends of the committee. So if it is possible, as much as possible, whoever will be the chair should be lenient enough also to give other senators who are not members of the committee also time to ask questions and clarifications. So, Mr. Speaker, as Senator for Meru, I'm happy, and I know the committee or the other, whichever way this matter goes, Meru will get justice, and I hope that by the end of the month things will be better and back. Also, I'll also request the committee to give even recommendations in the future so that other counties can be able to follow what the committee will work upon. So let us even give recommendations so that our counties can run smoothly. With those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I thank you and wish all the senators Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. At this juncture, I will call the Leader of Majority, who is the mover of this motion, to reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this chance. I have had the opportunity to listen to almost every senator actually make their contribution. Those who agree, majority who agree that this is the way to go, and a few that maybe for one reason or the other thought otherwise. I think their views have also been listened to, and for good reason. As leadership, we keep on learning every day. People are different, people appreciate issues differently. Not everyone is made of the same temperament and cut from a particular cloth, Mr. Speaker. So you have to understand people. Leading a team, minority leader leads, or myself, calls for balance. You know, Mr. Speaker, many things have been said and many suggestions have been given, including the possibility, you know, sometimes people say things and you listen and say, if you are in my position, will that be practical, what you're saying? That for every decision that you want to make, you must first call people into a meeting and say, which way? Surely, I don't think we will ever make any progress. It's a reality of life. We don't make light, actually, of the various views that we've listened to, especially on what is justified. But I think, to me, Mr. Speaker, the winner of it all is the Senator for Meru has just finished on the floor. He speaks on behalf of the people of Meru. He has a confidence of this House, and has said, whichever way this House decides, plenary or committee, that he is comfortable in the interest of the greater people of Meru for them to get justice. And he has agreed with the motion as proposed. He believes in the committees of this House. You know, Mr. Speaker, I can't remember who it was, but somebody from the minority side actually said something quite profound, that as a committee chairperson, actually, I now remember it was Senator Professor Kamar, that a vote in support of this committee, you're simply voting to affirm that you believe in the committees of this House. This committee is no different from any other of our committees. Therefore, if we set a precedence of saying that we don't trust in committees, this and that may happen, we are by and large, and you know we are all members of committees in one way or the other, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I plead with my colleagues, let us vote, support the motion as is, and tomorrow our colleagues can begin the work, and put us on notice. As soon as they are ready, we shall come back to hear what will be the finding of his committee. With those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 84-1, I do determine that the matter affects counties, and therefore voting will be by county delegations. The vote will be carried when a minimum of 24 delegations vote in favor of the motion. At this juncture, I'll ask the sergeant at arms to ring the division bell for 2 minutes.